Hi, my name is ESIKOKUI. Welcome back to my channel. I have a new video for you today. I am doing another Growing Up African episode, but this time I'm interviewing myself, or not really interviewing, but I wrote down some questions. I asked my friends to give me some questions that I could ask myself, or just points to hit. If you are new to my channel and don't know what Growing Up African is, I usually interview some of my friends or people that I know or run into that are of African descent in any shape. I've done African American, I've done Nigerian American, Ghanaian American, Eritrean American, Ethiopian American. I have done all those places, but today we're bringing it back to Ghana, and I'm going to kind of talk about my experience. Before we get into it, don't forget to subscribe if you're new to my channel, and like this video and comment down below so we can talk more and you can ask more questions. I'm so down to doing a part 2, but only if you guys want it. So as I've already said, I am Ghanaian American. I was born here in California, and I've been in California for my whole life. I moved 1 year in Nebraska, but I've been in California my whole life. But since I was 1, I've been going to Ghana every 2 or 3 years, and so I say that I was raised here, but I was also raised in Ghana because I have that background as well. Shout out to my parents for doing that, because yeah, I love it. Growing up, I always loved being African. I loved being from Ghana specifically. I think I had more of a connection to being Ghana than the whole continent. I don't know, it was something that made me feel like I was special. I loved being around my cousins. I loved going to school. I mean, to a certain extent, who loves going to school? But I liked the fun part of school. I loved recess time. I loved learning the language. I loved learning the culture. It was something that made me me, and I never want to, or I've never felt like I had to hide that or wanted to hide that, because I was just so proud to be Ghanaian. I don't know what it was, but I was just always so proud to be Ghanaian, because I know some people go through instances where they feel like they have to hide their culture, or like not be too African because they're going to get bullied, or you know, things are going to be said about them. I do feel like, yes, I did go through some of that where people did say things to me, but I didn't care because I got to go home to good food. I got to go to Ghana, and they were still here in America, so boo, whatever, I don't care. And the friends that I did have and did keep around and did invite over, they always were very like welcoming of my culture. Some friends, they would bring their parents and they would come and eat with my parents. I don't know, everyone was always like welcoming of it. People didn't really try to shame that part of me. They wanted to learn more. And so that's, I don't know if it's because I don't know if it was because of where I grew up. I grew up in Fremont. We didn't have a lot of black people around. It was very Asian, Indian. Most of my friends were either black or Latino. Some were white. I definitely did have some white friends, but yeah, I don't know. I think I kept a lot of ethnic people around me, so they already knew what it was, and that's why I feel like they were accepting of me, and I was gonna be okay regardless. I was gonna be okay. And so also during school, I would make a lot of my projects about Ghana, just loving the fact that I had the opportunity to show them certain things. It was just always something that made me feel special. Like, I've been a Ghanaian princess for Halloween so many times. Why? You know, because I already had the clothes. And it was an appropriation of my culture. It was my culture, so I could do it. I love my childhood and being able to express my culture in that way. And also when I would go back home, you know, some people did tell me that like I'm not Ghanaian because I was born in America. I definitely had people say that to me, and I think that hurt a little more than Americans shunning me, because I wanted to feel both the connection of Ghana and America, and I didn't feel like it was appropriate for somebody to tell me what my identity was, like to a culture that I felt so strong about. Like I was so proud to show it off in America, and then I come to Ghana and some people are telling me I'm not Ghanaian enough. Hello? So yeah, I always felt super offended because my identity was so strong in both, but I felt like I was really Ghanaian. Even though I wasn't fluent in the language, I could understand it, but I wasn't fluent in the language. I definitely wasn't growing up there consistently. Like I wasn't there most of the year. But you know what my parents told me? That I stayed in Ghana when I was 3 for an entire year. I had no idea. I was there for an entire year. Crazy. Crazy. So I have lived in Ghana, and when we would go in the summers, we would be there from May, when school got out in May, the end of May, we were there till August, till like 3 days before school was starting in America. So I was in Ghana for like 2.5, almost 3 months of my time. And when I was there, I was in school. I never got any breaks. I was in school, I was learning the language, I was having fun with my friends. So it's like I felt offended, but I had such a deep connection. So it didn't affect me that much, especially when I would go and tell my cousins and they'd be like, yeah, whatever, to that person, you know? It is what it is. Everybody has their opinions about that, and let them have their opinions. Of course, I definitely had strict parents. My parents were definitely strict, and I feel like they were stricter because I was growing up in 2 different countries, 2 different continents, and they were trying to still keep us humble, keep us being hard workers, but also trying to navigate a new country and learn how to figure that out and raise kids in that, you know? And so yeah, I definitely dealt with not being able to go out as much as I wanted, or not being able to do certain things that I wanted, that I feel like all the rest of my friends got to do. Just like simple stuff. Definitely no sleepovers, at least me going out. I had my first sleepover in the 4th grade, but it was a while before I had my next one. I guess the way to combat that is my parents were always okay with like people sleeping over, you know, if there was like a good amount of time that I asked or whatever. Most of the time my parents were okay with people coming to sleep over. So at least I still got to have sleepovers, but I couldn't go out. And yes, I definitely rebelled, but I don't feel like I rebelled in like crazy ways that I've heard other people rebel. Like I think my rebel was pretty tame. Like I snuck out once, which I don't think they know about, so if they do end up watching this video, yeah, I snuck out once. But it was only one time that I've ever snuck out, at least in America. In Ghana, that's a different situation. But yeah, I don't know, I don't feel like I really was doing the most. I would definitely scream and cry and, you know, try and get my way, but my parents really didn't budge. Once they said no, it was no. It was no. And that's just the way it was. I could definitely make another. I've already done unpopular opinions on African parents, and I think it was African parents. I think it was just African customs, or African customs, but I can do one about African parents if you want me to. I have a lot of experience. But we'll leave it at that for now. My parents were strict. We butted heads, you know, and the things that they wanted for me, I'm not exactly doing, but I'm doing my best, and I think that's something that they instilled in me, was to do my best. And so that's all I'm going to keep doing. One of my favorite memories when I was a child and I was in Ghana was my aunt's renewal, her wedding renewal. Yeah, it was just a good time. All my family was there. A lot of people made it out for that wedding. And my mom took me to the barber to cut the ends of my hair because I had a perm at the time, and I had already been growing out the perm, and my mom was like, no more perm, which was great. She told the barber to cut the ends of the hair, to just cut the ends, take the rest of the perm out because it's already been growing out. The lady took me to the back room and cut all of my hair off. Cut all of it off. And my mom was distraught. But me, you think I would be too, but I wasn't. I was not, because I don't know, all the rest of my cousins, they had their hair cut short, you know, and I wanted to be just like them. Like I told you, I had such a big connection with my cousins. Well, you know, we squabbled a little bit when we were younger. It took a while for them to like me and me to like them, but I love that their hair was short. I just felt it made you look so much more Ghanaian, so I was like, yeah, I want to look like them, and so I was happy. And if you, I wish I had pictures to put in here. I don't know, maybe I'll be able to find it, but yeah. And then I was at the wedding with them with my short hair, and we're all just drinking our Fanta and Sprites with our short hair, and we look so pretty. And that was like one of my favorite experiences. So for me, like I already said, I already went through like my African awakening because I was already awakened. You know, some people got to college and that was their awakening for them, and that's okay. Like, it takes some time to really embrace your culture in a country that is very against you doing so. So I understand why it's harder for some people. So for me, college, it was a different awakening. I felt like I had been so much in my African identity that I didn't even really focus on my Black identity, which it can be the same thing, right? But it can also be different. And so when I got to college, I definitely had that type of awakening. And so I was just learning about all the things around slavery, all the things about Black culture that I definitely did not get in school. Yeah, it just made me be more appreciative of my skin color, of where I came from, of my background of being African, of me being in America and being a Black woman. It gave me so much more of appreciation of that. Yeah, and I never was that type of African that looked down on African Americans. I just didn't understand certain things, but I never looked down. I always wanted to be friends with the Black girls, and they never wanted to be my friend. I don't think it was because I was African. They just, I'm a little corny and a little weird. So I see why, but like, I'm a good time. Thanks. I really got to do that in college and learn more about my Black identity. But most of my friends were African. They were mostly Nigerian. That is when I also got more of a sense of Nigerian culture. And now, growing up and going to college and then forming like my lifelong friendships with these women, I definitely had a different appreciation for Nigerians, for all of Africa. I was learning so much. You know, I was learning more about East Africa too. I never knew too much. I had maybe one East African friend in high school, and so when I got to have more and I was learning their culture, I was like, wow, this is so cool. I'm still learning. I'm not there, but I feel like I'm such a rounded person in understanding different people's experiences just because of how I grew up. How first I was proud of my African identity, then in my Black identity, then in other people's cultures. It was like, it made me who I am today. So yes, I am bringing my friends to Ghana. I'm taking a couple of my friends to Ghana this December, and I am so excited for it. I'm so happy that I get to spend this time with them and show them my culture. I've always, like I said, I've never been afraid to show my culture. And so I think back in 2019, one of my friends that's actually going on this trip reached out to me, and she was like, I'm going to Ghana, where should I go, all this stuff. And she was supposed to go in 2020, but you see how see what happened there. And so when she told me that, I was like, dang, I wish I could go with her to actually show her these places, but I'll be able to still provide her like a really good experience. And then when the pandemic happened and we were finally not coming out, but like things were starting to get a little bit better, I was like, okay. In 2021, I was like, I have always been asked by people to take them to Ghana, or like where are the places to go in Ghana. So I was just like, I might as well do a trip where I get to really take my friends back home. And now I'm thinking of doing this more often based off of how this goes. So I am excited for that. I'm blessed that I get to do that. I'm blessed that I feel comfortable enough to navigate that many people that are going. Like, I feel so blessed that I can do that, and I just hope that it's a good time. We won't be able to do everything because they're only there for a short time, but it will be a worthwhile time. So I think regardless of it being small, it's still going to be an abundance of an experience, because every time I go, it's an abundance of an experience. And for somebody that is raised there as well, I feel that every time I go, I know they're going to feel that in a different way, but they're gonna feel that for sure. And I just hope that I'm going to be able to really give them the best experience possible. So yeah, I'm excited. Definitely look out for my vlogs coming. I'm gonna have some different videos and so much coming. I really hope that I will be able to showcase as much as what went on during the trip as I can, to really give you guys that, and then maybe I can organize a trip for you guys. Any regrets from my growing up African experience? I think my only regret is that I do not know how to fully speak my mother's language, or any of the languages. That would be fine, but I don't know how to fully speak Chui, my mother's language. It's something that like bothers me because I just want to be fluent so bad. My goal was to be fluent by the time we are going this December. I don't even know if I'm a little bit better. I think I am. I understand certain things. I know how to count now. I know more words than what I've known growing up, and so that's fun, but I just wish that it was better, because I want to be able to pass that to my child, and I can barely speak it myself. I didn't reach my goal this year, and that's fine, but I'm going to continue to try and maybe do it in a different way. It's harder because I don't live at home, so I have nobody to practice with, but maybe I'll get like a one-on-one teacher or something like that, because that is my big goal. And it's really hard because I'm an adult now, and it's harder for adults to learn a new language, but I think I'm a little bit ahead of the game because I know so much already and I can understand it. So that's like my only regret. Other than that, I just feel like I've had such a well-rounded experience. And one day, I'm hoping to move. I don't know if I'll move there completely, but I'll definitely have some property there. I'll have a house there. Yeah, I want to be able to go home to my own place as well. So that will be nice when I can eventually do that, and open a couple of other things. I have a lot of ideas, but we gotta get this money rolling in a little bit more. I always end Growing Up African asking my interviewees a this or that question game. So I'm gonna do it to myself. I know it's weird because I came up with these, but we're gonna do it. I wrote them down, but I didn't have an answer yet. So now I'm coming up with my answer on the spot, if that makes sense. America or Ghana? If I had to choose one, I would probably choose Ghana. There's just something about the way Ghana makes me feel. Yeah, just the pride that I have in it. Like, them being in the World Cup is just a beautiful thing to me. That's why my voice is halfway gone, because I was screaming so much. But yeah, I just have such a sense of pride, and I don't feel like I have that same sense here, but I do love the opportunities that America brings me. So I would just have to figure that out in Ghana if I would have to choose one. American food or Ghanaian food? Ghanaian food all the way. All the way. Okay, I don't know this American food. I just started eating this when I got to college because I had no choice. I wasn't about to cook every single day. No ma'am. Ghanaian food is the best. I can eat it all day, every day. I've probably had curry and bean stew. Like, it's Thursday, I've probably had it 7 times already. You know, there's lunch and dinner, but I've already had it like 7 times this week. I need to change it up. And lastly, Nicki Minaj or Sarkodie. So for this one, I wrote my 2 favorite artists from each country, and yeah, so Nicki is my favorite American artist. Sarkodie is my favorite Ghanaian artist. And they're both rappers, so it fits. But I'm gonna have to go with Onika Tanya Mirage. I will pick her every single time. I'm so sorry, but I love that woman down. Okay, and just what she's done for me in the times that I didn't feel like I fit in, not because of my culture, but because of other, you know, factors in America of being a dark-skinned woman or being, you know, other things. Yeah, Nicki was always the person that I listened to, that I watched her interviews, that resonated with me, and so I'm gonna have to pick Nicki. But I still love you, Sarkodie. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this wasn't too long, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next video. If you have more questions for me, definitely comment down below, like this video, and subscribe. Bye.